Okay.
Okay. So I'll start with leads, just to kind of give you an update on where we're at this month compared to June of 2024. So in June of 2024, we had 57 leads through Lead Assign. And so far this month, we've had 162. So that has increased by 284%, which is great. I also just wanted to comment on leads to let everyone know to only accept leads if you're at your desk and able to respond to them promptly. If you're away from your desk or not working, please don't take any of the new leads that come to you, just so we can ensure that everybody gets a timely response. Even if it's just a quick note to them saying you're looking into it and we'll get back to them soon. That is that. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Tina.
No, just one of the things that one of the presenters said at Edge that I thought was interesting was that she feels like that agents should get back to them within 30 minutes or you'll lose the lead. Like it's that time sensitive. So, I mean, if everybody can just take them if you can get back to them and deal with them right away. Otherwise, let that one go and someone else will let another one go and it should all work out in the end anyways. When you're at your desk, that's the best time to take a lead because then you can usually start doing the research soon after.
An update for me is with Tina's recommendation and support. I've enrolled in a Women in Leadership program through Rotman School of Management at U of T. It's a 6-week online program designed to help female professionals strengthen their leadership skills. Topics that are covered in the program are leadership presence, emotional intelligence, conflict management, and creating a personal leadership vision. So I will be starting that in July, towards the end of July, actually. It's roughly have to work in 1 to 2 hours a day of learning and doing some of the activities, which will fit into my regular schedule and make sure that my day-to-day responsibilities are still covered. But I'm excited and looking forward to learning new skills and being able to apply them so that I can better help with all of the requests that you guys have for me. So.
Sounds like a great program.
Yeah,
Congratulations, Kayla.
Thank you. And then the last note I have is just to let you guys know that we'll be sending out the competency survey that we did last year. That will be getting sent out in hopefully the next couple days. So just keep an eye on that and complete it as soon as possible. If you could, that would be great.
Kayla, are we sending the same one or was there any updates to it?
I'm going to make some updates to it, I think, just because we've done so many different things this year compared to last year, but that's what's kind of the holdup right now. So I'm just going to go in and tweak it a little bit and then send it out to everybody.
Okay. And just a reminder, guys, we did this last year. It is completely anonymous. I mean, a few people made comments last year that we were able to tell who they were. So, don't do that if you don't want us to know. It is completely anonymous. Nobody sees who's putting in those. But we want you to be honest because we took those very seriously last year. And for me, I'm not gonna, I don't want to put that out there unless we're gonna acknowledge, that there's gaps and we can work with you guys to help bridge those gaps. So, please be honest in them and it really does help us to grow and be better as a team.
Am I up now? Are you done, Kayla?
Yep.
Okay.
All yours.
All right. So, had a good time at Edge. Lots of stuff coming out of that. You can see my like whiteboard of notes of things we're working on. So there is a lot going on in marketing, and we're trying to balance it all and find, you know, how to set our priorities in order to get everything done, because everybody's pretty busy right now, even with sort of 2.5 staff, because Sherry is part-time still. So the big things that we're working on for website are we're just finalizing a distinctive voyages page. We're working on a group page behind the scenes. We're working on an MSC page, looking at hosted cruises and maybe how we can make that more enticing. Luxury is done, but we're probably, after we decide how we're moving forward with luxury, we're probably going to work on that some more, because why should it be done?
I think that was a slam on me.
No slam at all. I'm just like, I was so excited to finally be like, woohoo, luxury is done. And I was like, yeah, we're going to think about this. I'm like, it's okay though. It's all good. It's just there's a ton of, you know, like, I think we all, you know, Matt, Tina and myself, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think we all felt really energized and like inspired, and it got the wheels turning. Even if it wasn't something that we directly sat in on, there were, you know, lots of little sparks that made us think about things that we can do to make our agency better and, you know, grow this business and make it great for everyone. So so there's a lot. There's a ton that we're thinking about, and a lot that we're working on. I still have a crap load of prizes to send out, so if anybody messages you about their client giveaway, it's been on my list to do for 5 days, and they're still sitting there, but they're going to get done today. Same with magnets. We've got Christmas in July coming next month, for July. So we've got suppliers who've bought into Meta ads, and we're going to send out a special e-news for that, that just highlights some holiday cruises for the cruise lines that bought in. I think the only one, is there any that didn't buy in?
I think Celebrity only did one, right?
Celebrity did the Meta ad and the e-news. So for the Meta ads and the e-news, so we'll put out Meta ads for like one holiday sailing, and like contact us for more like options. So that's Royal, Norwegian, Celebrity, Holland America, Virgin Voyages, and Princess. And then we've got 4 that we're doing a blog about their special sort of holiday sailing and what you can expect on their line during the holidays. And then we're doing videos, which we won't be doing next year because we're not we're not in a position to create that kind of content with what, you know, the ships supply us. But we've got RC, Norwegian, Holland America, and Virgin Voyages. So Holly's working on all those blogs, and we're going to sort out creating some video content for those as well. So that's coming up in July, and then we'll, you know, obviously create a template for any Christmas in July holiday sailings that we can use to kind of promote during the month. What else do we have? And then August is Azamara, so more details on that coming soon. I have to touch base with Margarita. Then September is Disney. There won't be, you know, they're really not doing much for us, but we did want to highlight them and try and bring them into the fold. So it'll be pretty much whatever specials are running. Like there's nothing there's no money and there's no offers specific to them, but we are going to try and highlight them, and they're going to do a presentation for our team, and we're going to do a consumer webinar. So we're trying to get them into the fold. We're not at the level we need to be, I think, at this point to get the attention that our other suppliers give us, but they're coming in September, and then October will be Virgin Voyages, and still sorting through that with Sean. I have to touch base with him later this summer to sort out the details, but we'll be doing some stuff with them. So that's coming up. Day to day, just our regular stuff, our offers. We're still working land, working magical vacations, continue to be doing blogs. What else do we got on my list here? Tina's e-news goes out this week. We talked about Agent Profiler. I know everyone did profiles. I'm trying to find out through them if there's a way we can get embedding codes. We could actually embed your agent profile onto our website on the contact us page. They didn't seem keen to help with that, but you never know. I'm going to follow up and see, because I think that it would be beneficial to have that information there, and it would definitely be able to link through to you from there. So we're trying that. Other than that, I mean, there's lots of little things, but those are the big things. And I'm meeting with the Google rep again tomorrow, and we're going to start retargeting ads for Royal Caribbean. So anyone who visits our Royal Caribbean page or Royal Caribbean deals, I think is what we're looking at, because it's going to be focused on exclusive rates and like book with us and save. So we're going to get those set up and running as well. Princess ads are still running till the end of the week. We added an additional 7 onboard credits. One has been taken as of yesterday. I don't know if anyone else sold Princess, but you do need to fill in that form still. And then the RC offer starts on Thursday. That's just a short-term one. And I think that's it. I think that's what I got.
I'm going to add on to your agent profiler, and we were astonished at the amount of leads that are actually coming into agent profiler based on what TLN is telling us. And so I emailed Melissa Wheaton to see if we can get a meeting with her. She's our TLN rep. Because we're getting squat. I know we're getting squat. I mean, I've gotten one lead in the last probably 3 months, and it was a spam. So, and most of us are super agents. So I do know that it's partially on us that we need to rewrite. I mean, I jumped in and looked at my super agent bio the other day, and it's very similar to what it was when I first started. So I do think I need to work on that. Or maybe our marketing team can help work on that. We also need to encourage reviews in there, and I know that we're always pushing Google, but I think we need to mix it up, because it does help to get reviews um, in that profile status as well. So I think there's an opportunity there with super agents. I think there is an issue with the Canadian leads. I do, because I've talked to many Canadians who used to get a lead a day, and now they get nothing comparable to that. So they've done something with the SEO, but I don't know anything more than that. But we need to do our part on our end to help improve those agent profiler leads. I will. I have the exact same sentiment about Edge that Linda did. I thought there was a ton of sparks. The same thing happened to us last year, where we came back with so many ideas, and we have to be very careful, because there are so many ideas that we could go off on tangents. I did a course, her name is Geraldine Ree, and I've done courses with her before. She's fantastic. But it's called The Intentional Leader. And it was very much about, being intentional and being purposeful and being thoughtful about the direction that we're heading in, and not being an octopus and going in a lot of directions, and using the word no. So, we might have this great idea, but it's no, we can't do it this quarter. maybe we can do it next quarter. Let's look at where we're at with our calendar. But like Linda said, there's a lot on marketing's plate right now. So I did learn a lot from it, and I think that it's going to be helpful going forward about being intentional in our decisions. Um, we're kind of we've talked about luxury at nauseum, and I think that now is the time that we're gonna dig that back out of the ground, and we're gonna relook at what we originally thought, and I think we're gonna try and hit it head on in a big way. So, but we're actually gonna have a meeting after this, so we don't really have anything more to say on that because we have lots of decisions and ideas, and that's to come. Okay, CRM project. So we've been working with our consultants. They've actually had some meetings now with some potential suppliers to be CRM or platforms. So that's good. They're recording them, and we will have an opportunity to listen to understand what is going on. Our name has not been put out there. It's been purposely kept private until we're ready to let them know who we are. So at this point, we're just going to them with our wish list and saying, "What can you do?" This is what our consultants are doing. They're meeting with them. They're saying, what can you do of this list, and trying to get an understanding of how everything fits together, because it is quite the puzzle, with understanding what some of these platforms are providing. Is it a CRM? Is it a booking platform? Is it both? And trying to understand. Something very funny happened at Edge, and I videotaped it. They announced that, you know, they were gonna so engagement, which is, we do some marketing through their engagement channel at TLN. Their engagement only works with Agent Profiler and Client Base, which we don't use because they're so antiquated and they look like DOS, and they're from like the 1980s. But the big, big, big guys use them because they're, I think, the only two that are really sort of, the ones that everyone started with. So these big guys don't want to change because it's a lot of work to change. Anyways, they announced that engagement is going to start working with Vacation CRM going forward. So I thought, well, that's funny, just as we're leaving. Not that we would stay for that tiny little component, because really it's ridiculous. But I just thought, welcome to the 1990s, guys. Like, come on, get on the ball here. Like, Vacation CRM is probably good for small agencies, but I truly think that we are tapping out of this. Um, I think that we need something a little bit more robust that we can customize a little better and not have so many challenges with. So, anyways, I thought that was really funny that they were all excited that they were now going to be connected to Vacations here. It's really nothing. I mean, all it is mailing pieces. Um, so really, really silly. Something that they should have been able to do 20 years ago. But Edge was fantastic, and I brought home my Edge book, and so did Linda. So it shows all the courses, and so if anybody wants those, like, I'm happy to mail. I've only got one, but I'm happy to mail it out, and I'm sure Linda would be happy to share hers as well. If you guys want to see like what kind of courses they ran this year, so it really is fantastic. And yeah, you're not going to get in there and 100% of it is going to be pertainable to you, or you're going to get 100% out of everything. But I always say, if you can just even get one thing out of every course that you go to, or every seminar that you go to, then it's a win. And I definitely did. And I and I don't attend everything, because I mean, obviously I'm bouncing back and forth to try and work and other stuff as well. But of course, the one that I skipped out of, Richard Branson came to. So that was kind of exciting. They do put some money behind these things. They had Richard Branson. They had um, the the guy from Duncan, I think his name is, from Outlander. He's the uncle of Jamie. And they also had the Clayton. No, not Clayton. What's the guy? The queer guy. Queer guy.
Carson.
Carson. Yeah. And he
From
actually did like meet and greets with people, so you could actually go up and talk to him. So that was pretty fun. But for me, I mean, that's all just fluff and mirrors. For me, the big thing was that we got opportunities to, get eyeballs on and get hugs with our suppliers and the big wigs. Derek Lloyd at NCL, and Matt got us now linked in with Jamie at Kennard, so now we have a relationship with them. Like, always with Katina at Celebrity, and Katie at Norwegian, and Andrew at Holland America. Like, these guys are like the VPs. And so the fact that we're building relationships with the VPs of these companies are huge. I think that's fantastic that we're building those relationships. And I think I want to do more and more of that. It's really a great opportunity for us to, get to know them on a personal level. And I think that really helps going forward. We also got invited to some really fun parties, and so that was really good. We had some wicked meals. So that's all I'll say about Edge. I really do think that everybody should be going. Okay. Oh, I think I started about talking about the CRM project and then totally side railed on that. So anyways, yeah, we're moving forward with that. It's very exciting. It's going to be a chunk of change, but like, I've never been one to, try and strip every dollar out of the company. I've never even taken a payroll. I did take a bit of money last year out at the end of the year, like, pretty equivalent to what our staff are making. So, but I've always been about, not taking money out if it's not excess. For me, I would much rather put the money back in and invest it. So for me, that's exciting. It's never been, the goal has never been for me to strip the money out and use that for, you know, extra trips or stuff, like, not that I need that, but for me, it's always been about putting it back into the agency, because I think it's really exciting that we're growing and that we're kind of carving our own path. There's nobody out there really like us in the industry, the way we do things. Like, most agencies have agents that get zero support from their agency, or they might get a CRM program, but that's it. They don't get this team, they don't get this marketing, they don't get the leads, they don't get any of that stuff. Like, that our agency is such a different ball game. Okay, Linda, cruise chat, is that this week?
Yes, cruise chat is this week. Karen will be presenting on cruise tours, and Mavis will be joining us on the panel as part of Supplier of the Month.
Okay. And who's hosting? Is there a host yet?
I need to look. One sec.
Okay. While you're looking for that, I just wanted to say, if anybody has any further issues with Dialpad, let me know, because I've now opened a support ticket with them. I don't know what was happening, because I did go back into Dialpad like they do usually post if there's issues on their end, and there was nothing for yesterday. So I don't know what was happening there. It's very odd.
No host.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can do it. That's fine, unless somebody else wants to. The only other thing, like, I kind of touched on this briefly, was the luxury. So watch for announcements coming through with that. And we have something exciting that we're going to do, that we're going to hopefully be able to implement going forward. And that is our client win of the week. And, we can have more than one, but this week we've just decided to highlight one to show you how the program's going to work. So I'm just going to share with you my screen, if I can, just a second. Okay, let me know if you guys can see this.
Nope.
Still no?
Nope.
You don't see it?
No.
Nope.
What do you see? Oh, wait, because it has to be put on stage. Okay, somebody's putting it on stage. Can you see it now?
Nope.
Still no? Can someone put it on stage?
Yeah, I just had to remove someone off the stage.
Oh, okay. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Okay. So this is how it's going to work. It's just going to be a 5-minute thing for, for each person that does it. So we'll take, maybe 1 to 3 people a week. If you guys have, we'll ask you before the meeting who has a win, and then you'll get an opportunity to share. So just let us know who the client is, what the win was, what did you do that led to the success of the win, and who was all involved. And then we'll have the team provide we'll ask some questions. What did we do right? How can we expand on this and apply elsewhere? And what made this client feel valued? And then if it's, something that's appropriate, maybe we can turn it into something that goes on social. Okay, so saying that, I'm gonna hand it over to Trisha.
I got a big win this week, and it's taken me a couple of weeks to get this win and a lot of perseverance. Um, this lead came in through a WhatsApp message that Linda shared back on June 3rd, and we finally closed and got them booked yesterday. It's a group. It started out as 8 cabins. It ended up being 7 cabins. They reached out, wanted a Caribbean cruise in August before everybody went back to school. So trying to get 25 people on board to pick a ship, to pick a itinerary and everything. It was a lot of work, a lot of work, a lot of perseverance. And I'm not a I don't, I'm not really a pushy kind of person. So we would email, he would email, we're going to book today. We're going to book today. And then it would go away. And then I'd go back. Hey, how are we doing? It was a little bit out of my comfort zone because I'm not one to push and persevere, but I'm glad I did this time. Because I think even sometimes he missed some of the messages. So I had to make sure that I got back to him. So we ended up, they were really wanting the icon, well, the leader. So luckily, I was working with one gentleman that was leading the whole group through his WhatsApp. Um, it's a group they travel all the time. He says they've been to Disney like 15 times as a group. Yeah. They travel all the time. They've never cruised before. So they asked really good questions. I ended up on the phone with yesterday confirming one of the big important things was halal meat. And I know halal meat is available on Royal. I remember my seminar see with Mitch, he explained halal was a big thing. But one of the gentlemen in the group was on the phone with Royal saying, and Royal's telling him, well, you can't do it unless we have 90 days notice. So thanks to Ollie on Mitch's team, she gave me a phone number to reach out, and I got on the phone, and they reached out to Special Terry, the dietary people, and we're confirmed we can have halal meat. It's only in the main dining room. I didn't know that before. But that was one of the last hurdles to get this done. And then yesterday they finally agreed and filled out the forms. So it was thanks to Tina reaching out to Mitch to get some extra perks. Mitch offered up some onboard credit, some specialty dining to get the group done. I think that's about it. It was perseverance. That's the only thing. And even up to yesterday, they were still taught. We had a 5-way chat on the phone about the difference between Icon and Oasis, and being their first cruise, they didn't want to spend the Oasis money, but they wanted the Oasis experience. So we talked the whole ship through. I was just on Oasis in January. It is an older ship, but I said it's clean, the staff is friendly, everything works. We talked a little bit what more would you get on Icon, and they decided on Oasis. So it was an exciting win.
Very exciting win. So I love that perseverance. So, not getting frustrated, sort of, just keep one foot in front of the other. And eventually it came to fruition. Now, one thing that I suggested to Trisha this morning was why not post that same sailing today and see if you can. I mean, Mitch has already offered us OBC and specialty dining for that group. So, just because they're not part of that family doesn't mean we can't put them in that group. So and it's literally the same sale that's coming out in 2 days anyways, so it's not like this group's getting any, it's just getting them booked before they change their minds at this point. And because it's been ongoing for a few weeks now, and we really wanted to get this secured. So
One of the challenges I found, and it's hard with Royal, is because the prices change and
I know.
fluctuate so much.
I
Like
know.
even during the day yesterday, it fluctuated a little bit again. Um, So I'd tell them a price and he'd go back to his people and then they'd be like, okay. And then I'd go, they'd wait a day. I'd go back again. The price has changed, and trying to explain to them, it's not me, it's Royal.
Mhm.
The price is changing there. So that's a little frustrating when you're,
I mean, the best we can do is watch the sales. I mean, we knew Beat the Clock, so we knew that one is a decreasing amount off. So we know that's happening this week. So I would try and just keep my eye on those dates, and let the client know. But other than that, like, it can even move even other than that. So it is challenging. So do you guys have any questions or comments for Trisha?
Is that halal 90 days a real thing?
No. So they got on the phone with dietary and they said, no, we're at 60 days because they're sailing on August 17th. So I just have to send in the form, and they said they can, and that the clients, when they embark, have to go to the main dining room to talk with the staff just to confirm and get it all set. So
But
they were happy with that.
They did it for you as an exception, or is it really a 90-day rule?
You know what? He never said if it was just an exception. Yeah, on all of Royal's websites and everything that you read, it does say 90 days. But Mitch had commented that every ship has halal on there and that it wouldn't be a problem. So I'm not sure if it was an exception, but it's going to work.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
Yep, and she got them in time to enter them into the Star of the Seas draw. That was my push. I was like, get this done by the 17th.
Yep, me in last night. So
Congratulations.
thank you.
Okay. I had one other thing that I wanted to share with you guys, and I sent it out just before we jumped on this call. So, hold on here. Where's my agent chat? Okay. Do you want to present me again?
Sorry, I had to put Nuni on there because I was obsessed with watching her little bird flit around on her head and her shoulder. He's so cute.
All right, let me know when you can see my screen.
You should be able to see it now.
So I just thought this was interesting. One of the things that came out of one of the things that I did at Edge, and you can use it or not use it, but I thought it was very interesting about, and it was a scorecard at Edge. I didn't make it a scorecard here, but I just thought it was, the things that you could kind of say to yourself before you get into a conversation with the client, about, like, here's one: asking open-ended questions to truly understand what they want. So not jumping into the conversation and assuming you know what they want, but really asking those questions, questions about, what other trips have you done and what did you like or dislike about them? Making sure that, not just, getting the sale, but making sure that you are finding them the right vacation. And so I thought this was kind of a neat checklist that I thought you guys could benefit from. Any questions about that?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, it's I sent it in chat so you guys can review it later if you want. But does anybody else have anything they want to bring up today? Nope. Just a thought, Trisha, like when that group goes, they might end up falling in love with cruising, right? So I would be reaching out to them, like, as their trip is going on, hey, we can get better rates for you possibly next year, by booking far out, hey, we also have a Disney person on staff, like, just sort of, so they're not scrambling at the last minute.
I did actually on the phone call when I had all of them on a call. I said, okay, guys, when you fall in love with cruising, because I know you're going to,
Yeah.
I said, as soon as you get back, let's start talking. And one of them said, oh, the Star of the Seas. I said, absolutely. The best pricing is a year out. So we'll work on
Legend of the Seas, go big.
Yeah, we go bigger. Oh, yeah, I mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, awesome.
Can I-
Anybody behind the scenes that wants to say anything? Just put your hand up and we can add you to the stage.
Yeah,
Can
sorry,
I
Tricia.
add,
Yeah, go ahead.
that's okay. Can I add one part to what Tina was talking about our agency here? Just because I'm one of the newer ones that joined, and I'll tell you about my experience with my last agency, which was a sub agency of Travel Agent Next Door. And this is absolutely so different. So much more amazing working with this team and in this agency. My last one, it was all on me. The invoicing, the communication, the posting, the building of the group, all of that. They had Client Link as their CRM and invoicing. Please run away from that one if you ever see it.
I've never even heard of it.
Okay, good. It's awful. It's horrible, and it went against everything in my accounting brain. Like, it was just awful. I couldn't get it. So, I just want to reiterate what you said. Like, this is amazing. This opportunity here working in this agency. It's incredible, the difference.
Thanks, Tricia. I mean, yeah, we don't pay as much as other agencies. We get that, but the math is the math, right? We do provide a ton of support, and I hope that everybody can see value in that. And I really appreciate your feedback. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else?
Did you want me to chime in about Edge from
Yeah,
an agent perspective?
of course.
Just because, I mean, there's obviously benefits for the owner or for somebody from marketing, but just from the agent perspective, I went to a seminar for every period. I didn't take one off, which is typical for me. But some of them were with suppliers, whether I was familiar with that brand or not. I went to some of the supplier presentations, not just because whether you already know the product or not, but there's always that little dropout that comes from it, or whether it comes from someone else in the crowd who provides some sort of input about how they work with that particular supplier or what works well for them with that supplier. And it's something that maybe you hadn't thought of. So just when you think you're confident enough with some of these suppliers, you grab that one little dropout of information that comes from it that you can put into your toolbox and use as well. The other ones, which are more geared towards sales or strategies, or even just understanding how you can market yourself, all of those seminars I found extremely beneficial for not only what the presenter brings to the table, but hearing what other people in the crowd, because they obviously build off of a lot of the feedback from the people attending. And that's where I seem to get a lot of those different ideas. And then, of course, the trade show, like Tina already mentioned, it's fantastic for them to get that face-to-face with, some of these senior positions within the different brands. But like me as an agent, for me to be able to go there and talk to them and them to know me by name and to have that rapport, and they're taking me over and introducing me to like a sales rep and says, like, you need to talk to this guy and we need to work with him, and you're a representation of that agency. So whatever comes out of that for me is going to come out of that for the entire agency. So having those opportunities, and I mean, that trade show goes for hours. Like Linda can attest to, they were already gone and had like changed and gotten ready for a dinner. And Linda ran into me leaving the trade show, like as they were packing the place up. I stayed for the full duration, like as stands were being torn down, I'm still talking to people, just to make those connections. And I have an entire like wallet full of business cards now from every contact that I made at every different supplier. And there is an abundance of information. And like someone like Windstar, who I've never worked with, we had a great time with them at dinner, but after the dinner, I stayed behind while they were like cleaning out the restaurant and had FaceTime with the three of them. And now there's been an abundance of emails that have come out as a result of that, where days after the event is over, they're still reaching out to us saying how excited they are to work with us as a result of that FaceTime that we got with them at that event. So, I mean, if you multiply that by multiple agents going and attending this and not just me, I think that just builds and builds and builds on those opportunities that
And
just
and Andrea wasn't even there. Like Linda and I sat with the vice president of WinStar.
Yeah. Yeah. And they were so impressed by us that now they're like pressing on their BDMs to be like, you need to work with this agency and we need to find a great strategy to go with them. And that's all as a result of us having that connection and that rapport with these senior positions who are now pressing downwards and saying, we need to give this agency more support. So we get the pressure going downwards as opposed to us trying to work our way up through BDMs and impress them and work our way upwards. We're having the opposite effect where we're really impressing these senior positions and they're pushing down for more effort to be made to work with us.
If I can just add to Edge too, like I've been to lots of conferences over the years, as I'm sure Linda and Matt probably have too. This thing is a well-oiled machine. It's probably the best conference I've ever been to. It is so impressive. Thousands of people and it just runs like clockwork.
Yeah, I would say that is one of the things about it that is really impressive is there's like, you know, when you go in somewhere and there's like no standing room only, or like they're running behind and tech's not working like this, everything goes off without a glitch. It's very organized. Everything's timed perfectly. The food was great as well, but yeah. And
except for the uncooked steak.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
the galas. Oh God, you should have had mine because it just sat on the plate.
I just ate the outside and then I let it run back to the pasture.
Yeah.
I left mine in case it wanted to go back to its friends.
I like my cow when it's still mooing.
All right,
Did
Matt,
you guys
anything
see
else?
that I posted about John Lavelle, my new best friend, is leaving to go to Virgin?
What?
Yeah, I just put it in the chat.
What?
In the comments.
John Lavelle, he's the TLN president.
No, he's leaving at the end of the month to take an exciting new leadership role with Virgin Voyages.
What? I think he's higher up at TLN than he could possibly at Virgin, unless he's going to be the new president.
I don't know.
Wow, he just took that role a year ago.
Yeah, so he is leaving, and his successor is Lindsay Perlman.
Oh, okay. We saw that guy a lot, eh?
Yeah.
All right, interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll meet him on the elevator.
Maybe. Oh yeah, I forgot that one. Linda didn't know who he was. She's like, tell the story, Linda.
So I was going to meet Tina, and she was in the bougie part of the hotel where the hookers weren't allowed up, so you had to wait for key access. But I snuck in with a group of people, and there was like one woman talking to this guy, having a big conversation, but they weren't talking about the conference. They were talking about like golf and like their bougie lifestyles. So I was just in the elevator with them, and then she got off, and the guy said to the other lady and myself, you know, you guys having a good day or something to that effect. And I was like, oh yeah, are you here for a conference? And he was like, which one are you here for? And I said, oh, I'm here for TLN. And the lady who was in the elevator was like, that is John Lavelle, the president. And I was like, oh, well, you look a lot different when you're on stage. You're only about that big. So nice to meet you. And to be honest, like, if you look at his picture in his emails, he does not look like that anymore. That is like a deep fake.
Yeah.
So I don't feel too bad about it. I also did not know the NCL rep who I was having a huge conversation with, and was like, oh, are you a BDM? And he was, the lady behind goes, he's the vice president. I'm like, oh, nice to meet you.
He's the president.
Is he the president?
Yeah.
Oh, John. I thought she said vice president.
He's the head honcho.
Oh, well, he was lovely. We had a nice chat, but I couldn't see his badge, and he didn't introduce himself. So,
yeah. And when I met Katina, she referred to me as Tina's Matt. So that was
just going to tell you to say that story.
Yeah, that was an interesting first introduction to Katina for her to be like,
I've never been referred to that before.
Yeah. Oh, you're Tina's Matt. Yep. I don't think I've ever been referred to as Tina's Matt, but that would be me, Tina's Matt.
Well, because I had seen Katina probably an hour before, and I was like, "Hey, watch out for this guy. He's coming by." So
Yeah.
I was, sharing with her. She already knew about our team build cruise, and I was sharing with her how to the 20 invites on the Canadian cruise. We had 5 of them just from our agency. So, but she already knew a lot of that stuff, anyways. I guess from Alan.
But that's a perfect example. Like I talked to Katina, and Katina said that she is getting a complimentary sushi roll class for our Japan hosted cruise. Because she's like, yeah, I can make that happen. If Alan can't get that to happen for you, I will make that happen. You guys will get a complimentary sushi roll class, like a private class for our hosted cruise. So like having that interaction, like that's a couple $1,000 when you look at the cost per person to do a sushi roll class. And she's like, yeah, just let me know. I'll make that happen. I was like, noted.
The relationships are everything. Like Karen and I went through that at Cruise 3 at Karen, what did we Aqua with Charles.
Mm-hmm.
She ended up getting a free CLIA, and then he ended up giving the agency a free CLIA agency membership too. Like, that's probably $700, $600, $700 right there, just in those 2 things, just because we sat down with Charlie for half an hour and shot the shit. So yeah, big deal. Yeah. And it's a lot of fun. It's a really good industry to be in. That's why no one ever leaves. We just move around, but nobody ever goes.
When do they start registering for next year? You said it's already established that it's in San Diego in May, but when do they start taking registration?
I don't think they started this year until January. So I'm hoping it's earlier, but I'll be all over Melissa Wheaton for a date, so that we have an idea when it's coming, and then we just have to be on it because, as we've had the last couple of years booked late, like Linda this year didn't jump on till later. Matt, I think Matt booked right away, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
So Matt and I ended up getting our ability to book our courses earlier, whereas Linda had to wait, and then she didn't get into everything she wanted to get into. So you want to book early, and plus it sells out pretty fast. And it's going to be at the Gaylord Hotel, which was beautiful. The one in Baltimore was absolutely amazing.
And this is a brand new one, which is why it's earlier, because they're trying to tie it closer to the opening of this, because it's a brand new convention center that they're unveiling.
Mm-hmm. So some other agencies that I know that do team events, and the people are all over the country, they try and tie things into things like Edge or Connection or whatever. So this might be something in the future that we can look into, rather than doing a separate cruise and going on a separate trip. We just add a couple of days onto Edge. If we can get everybody there and have everybody enjoying it, then maybe we just do our own thing for a couple of days ahead of time. All right. Hi, Carrie. All right. Anybody have anything else? Nope. Okay. All right. We will see you online. And I guess we're doing our luxury meeting too. So those of you that are in on that, we will see you shortly. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hi, everyone.